Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope so. You all are fine and you are enjoying good health and blessings of Allah Almighty. I'm your chemistry teacher Sundar Sanif, and today I will teach you chapter 7 electrochemistry. And for today, our topic is electrochemical cells. So, first of all, for today, learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to understand electrolysis of water, working of galvanic cell, working of Nelson cell, working of Down cell. So basically in this chapter we are going to read all these electrochemical cells. So let's move towards the topic. So first of all, what is electrochemistry? Students, as I told you in the previous lecture that electrochemistry is actually the branch of chemistry that deals with the relationship between electricity and chemical reactions. So when chemical reactions and electricity both they relate together, that branch of chemistry is called as electrochemistry. Actually, it involves oxidation and reduction reactions, which are known as redox reactions. Redox reaction either takes place spontaneously and produce electricity, or electricity is used to derive non-spontaneous reactions. So spontaneous reactions are those which takes place on their own without any external agent. On the other hand, non-spontaneous reactions are those which takes place in the presence of an external agent. Okay, so how can we define electrochemistry deals with the conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy, or we can say the conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy, or vice versa. So students, here are two types of energies. First is chemical energy and the second one is electrical energy. Electrochemistry is all about chemical energy and electrical energy and their interconversion. So the conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy or electrical energy into chemical energy is called as electrochemistry. Here is a term, electrolysis. What does this electrolysis means? Actually, electrolysis is the breakdown of any substance in the presence of electricity. And for electrolysis, actually different electrochemical cells are used. How can we define electrolysis? Electrolysis uses an electric current to break up an ionic compound to form elements. Students, keep this thing in your mind that covalent compounds cannot be splitted by electrolysis. Means electrolysis is only for ionic compounds, for example NaCl. When we do the electrolysis of NaCl, what will happen? NaCl will ionize as Na positive and Cl negative. So electrolysis is all about ionic compounds. It means electrolysis will not work on covalent compounds. Electrolysis apparatus. Electrodes are normally made up of inert, that is unreactive material. Two types of electrodes are there. One is called as cathode and second one is called as anode. The negatively charged electrode is called as cathode and the positively charged electrode is called as anode. Both these electrodes are made up of inert material. Students, keep this thing in your mind that inert means which is unreactive. Graphite and platinum are commonly used electrodes. Okay, so always remember that the positively charged electrode is called as anode and the negatively charged electrode is called as cathode. This is actually the apparatus for electrolysis. Both these positively charged and negatively charged electrodes are used in electrolysis. Okay. Electrolysis of water. So how can we do electrolysis of water? Students, pure water is a very weak electrolyte. I use a word electrolyte here. So let me tell you what does this electrolyte means. Electrolytes are actually the substances which can conduct electricity in their aqueous solution or in their molten state. So pure water, it is actually a very weak electrolyte. Okay, it ionizes to a very small extent. The concentration of hydrogen ion, that is H positive, and hydroxide ion, that is OH negative, is almost equal to 10 to power minus 7 mole per decimeter cube respectively. When a few drops of acid are added in water, its conductivity improves. Okay, so for example, if we have H2O, means we have H positive and OH negative. Okay, so if we have H positive and OH negative, actually pure water is a very weak electrolyte. But if we add some drops of any acid, it becomes a good electrolyte. Okay, so what will happen here when an electric current is passed through this acidified water, OH negative anion moves towards positive electrode, that is anode, and H positive cations move towards negative electrode, that is cathode, and discharge takes place at these electrodes. So what will happen when the electrolysis of water is going to be happen? This positively charged H positive, that is it move towards the cathode because it is positively charged and cathode is negatively charged. On the other hand, this OH negative, because it is negatively charged, it will move towards the positive. Why it will move towards the positive electrode, that is anode? Because there is always a force of attraction between oppositely charged particles. So this H positive will move towards cathode. The reason is because both these have opposite charge. H is H positive and cathode is negative. On the other hand, OH negative will move towards anode. And why it will move towards anode? Because anode is positively charged and OH has negative charge on it. Both these electrodes are connected with a battery, and the purpose of this battery is to provide current to this circuit. Is this thing clear to you? Keep this thing in your mind that whenever the electrolysis is going to be happen, it will be with the help of electricity or with the help of electrical current. So this is the electrolysis of water, because pure water is a very weak electrolyte. Keep this thing in your mind that we will add a few drops of any acid into it. So that water is called as acidified water. So what are the reactions which will occur at cathode, or what are the reactions which will occur at anode? What will happen? As I told you that H positive, as it is positively charged, it will move towards cathode, and OH negative, it will move towards anode. So students, what will happen that at cathode always the reduction takes place. When the reduction takes place at cathode, reduction means the gain of electrons. So this H positive will take that electron and it will convert it into hydrogen gas. On the other hand, OH negative will move towards anode, and keep this thing in your mind that at anode always oxidation occurs, and oxidation means loss of electrons. So here electrons are being lost from this OH, and this OH will be converted into water plus oxygen gas. Okay, so the thing you have to be remember is that at cathode always reduction occurs, and at anode always oxidation happens. In this regard, we can say that at cathode the gain of electron occurs, and at anode the loss of electron occurs. So this is the electrolysis of water. Whenever you have to do the electrolysis, or whenever you have to do the reactions which will occur at cathode or anode, you have to remember that reduction will be always at cathode and oxidation will be at anode. Difference between galvanic and electrolytic cell. What are the differences between these two? Galvanic cell and electrolytic cell. A galvanic cell it converts chemical energy into electrical energy, whereas electrolytic cell converts electrical energy into chemical energy. It means that in galvanic cell, first chemical reaction will occur, and due to that chemical reaction, electrical current will produce. On the other hand, in electrolytic cell, we need current to derive a chemical reaction. Galvanic cell, it is based upon the redox reaction which are spontaneous. Spontaneous means these reactions will occur on their own. The redox reaction in electrolytic cell, they are non-spontaneous and takes place only when energy is supplied. Means for electrolytic cell we have to supply current to it. Then the chemical reaction will occur. The chemical changes occur in two beakers are different. Anode is negatively charged, oxidation takes place, and cathode is positively charged. In this whole chapter, the thing you have to remember is only in case of galvanic cell, anode is negatively charged and cathode is positively charged. On the other hand, in the electrolytic cell, anode is same as positive charge and cathode has negative charge, and same oxidation and reduction takes place at cathode and anode respectively. So students, you have to remember that in case of galvanic cell, anode is negatively charged and cathode is positively charged, while in all other cells, anode is always positively charged and cathode is negatively charged. Chemical energy into electrical energy in case of galvanic cell. When these two anode, negatively charged anode and positively charged cathode, are dipped into any solution, first chemical reaction will take place, and due to that chemical reaction some current is produced which is measured by this voltmeter. As a result of that chemical reaction, current is produced, while in case of electrolytic cell we have to give, here the battery is connected, so we have to provide the current to this circuit so that the chemical reaction can happen. So number one, anode is negative charge in case of galvanic cell, cathode is positive, the reaction is spontaneous, does not require external voltage source. On the other hand, in case of electrolytic cell, anode is positive, cathode is negative. This is non-spontaneous chemical reaction and it requires some external voltage, so it means we have to give some current to this circuit in case of electrolytic cell. So this is the difference between galvanic cell and electrolytic cell. Galvanic cell. So how can we define galvanic cell or how galvanic cell can work? Actually, the galvanic cell in which a spontaneous chemical reaction takes place and generate electrical current is called as galvanic cell or voltaic cell, and the example of this cell is Daniell cell. So how can we define galvanic cell? I am repeating, in case of galvanic cell, the electrochemical cell in which a spontaneous chemical reaction takes place and generate electrical current is called as galvanic cell, or galvanic cell is also called as voltaic cell. What are the examples for galvanic cell? The example of this type of cell is Daniell cell. So the galvanic cell consists of two half cells connected by a salt bridge. The salt bridge plays an important role in the migration of ions from one half cell to the other half cell. So in case of galvanic cell, each cell is called as a half cell because the anode is dipped in the separate solution. On the other hand, cathode is also dipped into another solution. So what will happen? A galvanic cell consists of two cells. Each one is called half cell. This one is first half cell and this one is other half cell. Both these are connected with the help of salt bridge. So here this is actually the salt bridge. Okay, this is first half cell, this is second half cell. Both these are connected with the help of salt bridge, and in each of this half cell an electrode is dipped in 1 molar solution of its own salt and connected through a wire to the external source. In both these, the electrodes are connected with the external source. The left half cell consists of an electrode of zinc. Okay, this consists of an electrode of zinc metal dipped in 1 molar solution of zinc sulfate, and the right half cell, it consists of a copper electrode dipped in 1 molar solution of copper sulfate. What is salt bridge? Salt bridge is actually the U-shaped, this one. Salt bridge is actually the U-shaped glass tube. It consists of saturated solution of strong electrolyte supported in a jelly type material. The ends of the U tube are sealed with a porous material like glass wool. The function, what is the purpose to make this salt bridge? The function of this salt bridge is to keep the solution of two half cell neutral by providing a pathway for the migration of ions. So actually this salt bridge is present for the migration of ions. So what will happen at anode? Zinc will lose the electrons, means in case of anode, here the oxidation occur, means loss of electrons. And in case of cathode, what are the reactions occur at cathode? Actually there the gain of electron occurs and copper will convert into Cu. Okay, copper ion will convert into Cu. So what will be the overall reaction for this? The overall reaction will be the zinc will lose the electron and copper will gain that electron. Anode is shown on the left, the cathode on the right. The single line separates phases and the double dotted line indicates the salt bridge. Okay, so actually these double lines indicates the salt bridge between these two. The zinc metal, actually it has the tendency to lose the electron more rapidly as compared to copper. As a result, oxidation takes place at zinc electrode. The electron flows from zinc electrode through the external wire in a circuit to the copper electrode. The electron will start moving from here towards the external wire. Okay, these electrons are gained by the copper or solution and copper atom deposits at the electrode. The respective oxidation and the reduction processes are taking place. So as a whole we can say that the redox reaction occurs here because zinc will undergo oxidation and copper will undergo reduction. So as a result we can say that the redox reaction will occur there. As a result of redox reaction, electric current is produced. The batteries which are used for starting automobiles, running calculators and toys, etc. work on the same principle. Is this thing clear to you? Galvanic cell. Galvanic cell is the electrochemical cell which will convert the chemical energy liberated during the redox reaction to the electrical energy. For example, Daniell cell. Okay, so what will happen in case of galvanic cell, students? Actually this is the cell which will convert the chemical energy into electrical energy. It means that in case of galvanic cell, first chemical reaction will occur. Okay, and then due to that chemical reaction electricity will produce. Okay, on the other hand, if we will talk about the electrolytic cell, we have to provide current to the electrolytic cell in order to carry out the chemical reactions. But the case is reverse in case of galvanic cell, that first the chemical reaction will take place, then due to that chemical reaction electric current will produce. And the example of galvanic cell is Daniell cell. What are the reaction which will occur at anode? Definitely anode has oxidation reaction, means loss of electrons, so zinc will lose 2 electron, and at cathode these 2 electrons are gained by copper and copper will converted from Cu plus 2 to Cu, and in this way oxidation and reduction both reaction will occur, and we can say that the redox reaction occurred in the galvanic cell. Clear to you? Nelson cell. What is Nelson cell? On industrial scale, caustic soda, that is sodium hydroxide, is produced in Nelson cell by the electrolysis of aqueous solution of NaCl, which is called as brine. What is brine? Brine is actually the concentrated aqueous solution of NaCl. Okay, porous diaphragm of asbestos or metal oxide with polymer separate anode and cathode compartments. Diaphragm prevents the hydroxide ion entering anode compartment and prevents the chloride ion entering the cathode compartment. Okay, saturated brine enters anode compartment. So what is brine? Brine is actually the aqueous solution of NaCl. Okay, where chlorine gas is produced. So same is the case that anode is positively charged, cathode is negatively charged. Oxidation will occur at anode, reduction will occur at cathode. So carbon or graphite, it is anode is made up of carbon or graphite. Okay, or maybe titanium, and on the other hand the cathode is made up of steel, etc. So actually what will happen, aqueous solution of sodium chloride, that is NaCl plus H2O, means aqueous solution of NaCl, these ions move towards the respective electrodes and redox reaction takes place at these electrodes. Okay, what will happen, the positively charged ion will move towards the cathode and the negatively charged ion will move towards the anode, because there is it is understood that there is always a force of attraction between the oppositely charged ions. The H positive ions are discharged at cathode and hydrogen gas escapes through a pipe. The sodium hydroxide solution slowly percolates into a catch basin which is present at the bottom. So this is all about the Nelson cell, and Nelson cell is used to prepare caustic soda, that is sodium hydroxide, with formula NaOH. Down cell. Down cell is actually, on the industrial scale, molten sodium metal is obtained by the electrolysis of fused NaCl in the down cell. The electrolytic cell in a circular furnace, in the center there is a large block of graphite which acts as an anode, while cathode around it is made up of iron as shown in this figure. Okay, so what will happen, that molten NaCl is present, iron screen to prevent Na and Cl negative so that they cannot enter into any other compartment, okay, for their separation. This is actually for the inlet of NaCl. Anode is made up of carbon, cathode is made up of iron, and actually this whole circuit is used to prepare sodium metal. Okay, so what will happen, the fused NaCl produces Na positive and Cl negative ions. So what will happen, as Na, let me tell you that whenever NaCl will ionize, it will form Na positive and Cl negative. So students, what will happen, this Na positive will move towards cathode because cathode is negatively charged, and Cl negative will move towards anode because anode is positively charged. Okay, so this is understood that all the positively charged ions will move towards cathode where the reduction will occur, and all the negatively charged ions, they will move towards anode because anode itself is positively charged, and at anode oxidation will occur. Okay, so when the Na positive will move towards the cathode, which is made up of iron, it will gain 2 electrons there and it will be converted into sodium metal. So down cell is actually used to prepare sodium metal. Working of down cell, how this down cell will work, actually the fused NaCl produces Na positive and Cl negative ions which migrate to their respective electrodes. These electrodes are separated by steel gauze to prevent the contact between the products. Okay, so what will happen at cathode, or what will happen at anode? As I told you that at cathode always reduction occur, and at anode always the oxidation will occur. Okay, reduction means gain of electrons, so at cathode always the gain of electron will occur, and at anode the oxidation occur means loss of electrons. So here the chlorine will lose their 2 electrons. So in this way, this is the working of the downside, that at cathode sodium will gain 1 electron and it will convert it into Na positive, and at anode chlorine will lose that electron and it will convert it into Cl negative. So students, this was all about today's lecture. Hope so you got all my points. Here are some questions and you have to write these questions on your notebooks, and you have to learn the topic oxidation and reduction as well. Number one question is, what are different reaction involved in electrolysis of water? And the second one is, what are different reaction involved in the working of galvanic cell? So the important short question is, what is the difference between galvanic and the electrolytic cell and galvanic cell, Nelson cell? Both these questions are very important from board point of view as a long questions. Okay, so you have to learn and write these questions very well. This was all about today's lecture. Still you have any question or any query, you can ask me. Best of luck. Take good care of yourself and everyone else around you. Allah Hafiz.